So friends, let me give you a brief about myself. My name is Ambarish Tate. I am from Mumbai, the financial capital of India. I have been into MS Office training for the last 4 years. I was privileged to be certified by Microsoft as a Microsoft certified trainer in December 2013. So, I mean, even before that, I've been doing MS Office training programs, Excel, Advanced Excel, PowerPoint, Office 365, Outlook, Link, OneDrive, all these are the modules of MS Office which I've been training corporates and students on. So friends, like we all know, this is a session which is planned, it's a webinar for VLOOKUP. So like we all know, VLOOKUP is a very important formula of Excel. There are close to 1500 formulas in Excel, and VLOOKUP is one of the important ones. So let me give you a brief about why somebody would like to use VLOOKUP. Like the name suggests, V stands for vertical, lookup stands for finding, searching, matching, right? So in an Excel sheet, when you want to pick up data from one point and paste it into another point, that is when you would want to use this formula called VLOOKUP. Okay, so in a real life corporate environment or in your real life Excel usage, you could be given two different datas. Those datas could be in one single sheet, or they could be in two different sheets, or it could be two different files altogether. You may be faced with a situation where you would like to pick up data from one file and paste it into another. If you do this via the copy-paste method, it becomes tedious because there are chances of manual errors. I mean, you can't simply keep copying from one point and pasting into another point, right? That is when you would want Excel to perform this task for you, and we will do this with the assistance from a formula called VLOOKUP. Okay, all right. So far, are we all okay, friends? Are you able to hear me? If a couple of guys can give confirmation, it will be really superb. And I hope you can see my, okay, Mitesh, thank you so much. Ashish, thank you. Raki, superb. All right, great. All right, so friends, you can see that on my screen, there's an Excel sheet, okay? And for us to be able to perform VLOOKUP, it is important for us to know the concept of referencing. Like in most of the countries of the world, if you want to be able to drive, you need to have a driving license and some prior knowledge about of the car, right? Similarly, to be able to perform VLOOKUP, we need to know about referencing. So, like you can see in the C column here, I've been given some salary values. Of course, this is a dummy data, right? I've been given some salary values of some people. Again, I've got these fictitious names here. Now, I have been asked to calculate mobile allowance, fuel allowance, dining allowance, vacation and medical allowance of each of these employees, depending on the percentage component given to me in the row above the headers. So 5% of the salary is mobile allowance, 10% of the salary is fuel allowance, 15% of the salary is dining allowance, and so on. Now, if I want to perform this calculation, it's a very simple task. It's a basic thing here. I will begin with an equal to symbol, all right? And I will take the reference of the cell which contains my salary. In this case, it's C6. I will put the multiplication symbol. So salary times, now I will take the reference of the cell D4, which is 5%, and I will simply press enter now. Simple as that. I'm happy with the first answer. I got the mobile allowance of Mr. John, which is 3447.75. And now I can either double click or I can drag it to get the values for the remaining people. Now, here's the problem. Can you see that for the second person, Mr. Robert, I get an answer which is hash value. Also, for the third person, Rosie, I get a figure which is really vague. So, in a nutshell, what's happening here is right from employee number 2 till the end, I'm getting all. Okay, Rajit Nair, are you able to hear me? Is it better now? Okay, others, are you able to hear me? I think there seems to be some problem with Mitesh and okay, great. I think it's all sorted now. Great. Okay, superb. Thank you so much, Mr. Suresh Patra and Neeraja Vijay. Okay, great. Thank you, Mitesh, as well. All right. Okay, so friends, yes. So if you look at the column here, the D column, you will notice that right from employee number 2 till the end, I'm getting incorrect values. Now let's see why it's happening. Okay, I will just press F2, or I can just double click on the very first cell where we did the calculation. It shows up as C6 into D4. Rosie, her mobile allowance is coming up as her salary multiplied by Mr. John's mobile allowance. So what's happening here is the D4 cell is changing its reference and becoming D5, D6, D7, D8, and so on, which is what we do not want to happen. And that is why, in this case, we would like to freeze the D4 cell. We would like to, in other words, we would like to make the D4 cell constant. Now, how would somebody make a cell in Excel constant? Simple. You go to that cell, cell where you've done the very first calculation, press F2 or simple double click with the mouse. I'm more of a keyboard person than the mouse. Okay, so I press F2. It shows me C6 into D4. Now here, after D4, where my mouse cursor is currently blinking, I will simply press the function 4 key on my keyboard. Okay, the F4 key, the top row on my key. In some laptops, you might want to press the FN key and the F4 key. So I simply press F4, and right, you can see there is a dollar before D and there is a dollar before 4. So what I've done in the whole process is I've made the D4 cells constant. Now I press enter. Obviously the first value is not changed. Like we discussed earlier, I can now do a double click, or I can simply just drag it down, and now I can see that all the values are absolutely correct. Yeah, so if you check this, okay, I see a comment from Nitesh. I think he wants to say awesome. Okay, thank you. All right. Okay, so now I can see that all the values are proper. Okay, I can see that. Okay, Pallavi, thank you so much. Neeraja, okay. All right. Okay, so now we have. Okay, Neeraja, since we just have 30 minutes, I might not be able to go into the depth of this entire thing again. But yeah, let me try this again. Okay, Neeraja. So we just did this for mobile allowance. Let me do this again, the entire process again for fuel allowance. So I take the equal to, yes, Raki, this is called referencing, correct? There are various methods of referencing: absolute referencing, partial referencing, fixed referencing. All right. Yep, what we did right now is fixed referencing. Perfect, Raki. Okay, great. So I come to the fuel column. I will start off with an equal to symbol. I will take the reference of the salary cell multiplied by, this time I will take E4, which is 10%, because for fuel it's 10%. I will not forget, I repeat, I will not forget to press the function 4 to make the E4 cell constant. Press enter. Okay, the E4 thing, the F4 thing is important here, and I can now double click or just drag it down. All right, great. Okay, Pallavi, I can see an acknowledgement from you where you've said C4 into constant E4. Great. Okay, so friends, my whole focus here was not to cover referencing, but like I said in the beginning, to be able to know VLOOKUP, it is important for us to know the concept of referencing. Now, coming to VLOOKUP, you might be faced with a situation where you will be given two different datas in the same worksheet of an Excel file. Or it could be a scenario where you could be given two different sheets in the same file, and you are required to pick up data from one sheet and paste it into another sheet. Okay. In both these cases, the concept of F4 is required. The concept of referencing is required. Okay. Now, okay, Naveen Kumar, like I said, there are various types of referencing. I mean, different people call it by different names. What we have done right now is called fixed referencing. There is another method called absolute referencing, and there is another smart method called partial referencing. Okay, fixed referencing, absolute referencing, and partial referencing. Okay, but right now we will focus on okay, Pallavi, the concept of pressing F4 to make something constant is called referencing. All right, Naveen Kumar, partial referencing is something which we will not discuss in this session, because the whole agenda of this session is to do VLOOKUP. Okay, all right, okay, yeah. Of course, we will have more sessions like these where we will discuss in details about referencing. Right now, my whole focus is to teach you the concept of F4 before we move into VLOOKUP. Okay, so like I was saying, if you are doing a VLOOKUP where the data is given to you in two different files, you might not be required. You will not be required to press F4, but the concept of F4 is required when you are working in the same sheet or two sheets within the same file. Okay, great. Now, let's take a look at the next sheet here. By the way, please keep in mind when you are working with an Excel file, the shortcut to move to the next tab, or the shortcut to move to the next worksheet is Control Page Down. Okay, I'm not saying Control Arrow Down. I mean to say Control Page Down. Okay, do not confuse yourself between Page Down key and the Arrow Down key. Okay, it's Control Page Down for the next worksheet and Control Page Up for the earlier worksheet. Okay, now like you can see here in the VLOOKUP 1 worksheet, I have been given a small table. Please understand, friends, this is a dummy data. Okay, I've been given in one column all the cities, different cities. I've been also given the states in which these cities come under, and I've been given the airport code. Okay, my requirement here is, if you look at this yellow cell, which is on the extreme left-hand side, A5 cell of my Excel sheet. Okay, if you look at this yellow cell, there is Jammu, which is already selected in the drop-down. There's a drop-down menu here. Okay, my requirement is whatever city is selected in the city field, that is this yellow box, correspondingly, the airport code of that particular city should appear in the green box. That's my requirement. Okay, so if I come to the drop-down here, and if I change it from Jammu to, let's take an example, let's make it Delhi, the capital. So correspondingly, the green cell should show me the airport code of Delhi, which is DEL. Further, if I come again to this drop down and change it to Kolkata, the city of joy, then I would want this to show up as CCU. Okay, so let's see what we can do here. I will start off now in Excel. Whenever you are typing any formula, a lot of times in my experience, I have seen people from various corporate backgrounds. I have seen what people do is they begin with an equal to symbol, and then they type the complete spelling of the formula like V, L, O, O, K, U, P, and then they press the Shift key and the 9 key to begin the bracket. All of this is not required, especially in the Excel 2007, 10, and 13 version. You can simply just begin with an equal to symbol. That's pretty simple. Okay, you begin with an equal to symbol. You start off with VLO, and as soon as you start typing the first 2 or the first 3 characters, you will see a whole list of formulas appearing in the drop-down. Now, for VLOOKUP, if I just type V, do you see a whole list of formulas is coming up? It says value, it says where not P, right? So a whole list of formulas is coming up in front of me when I just type V. So I can just type L after V, and I get what I want. Now that I see that the VLOOKUP thing is coming up in front of me, I will simply press the tab key on the keyboard. Okay, please do not press enter here. Please do not press anything else. Simply just press tab on the keyboard, which is just above your caps lock. Okay, just press the tab key on your keyboard, and you will notice that the complete spelling of the formula is already mentioned in that cell. Also, you will notice that the bracket also has started, and you also see a tooltip which is appearing right at the bottom of that formula, which is VLOOKUP. There are a few parameters. They are all separated by commas. Okay, so what you see in the tooltip drop down are called as the parameters. Okay, so the first one here is lookup value, then there is a comma, then there is table array, then there is column index number, then there is range lookup. So there are 4 parameters. All right, now for VLOOKUP, we need to make sure that there is at least one common item in both the given datas. Meaning, in the given table here, that is this table, this city, state, and airport code, and my database here, I need to have at least one thing in common. In this case, I have this city, which is common. All right, so the first test is passed. The second thing is the item or the column which I am looking up for, the desired value should be on the right side of the common column. So in this case, like you can see, I'm looking for airport code, and that has been given to me on the right side of my city column. If somebody gives me the data in such a way that the airport code column is on the left hand side of the city column, like I'm doing right now, like I've done right now, okay, you can see that in the C column of my Excel spreadsheet there is airport code, and then there is city, and then there is state. Okay, so if the data given to you is like this, where the common column is on the right side of the desired column, then you might want to do a Control X, that is copy, cut, okay, Control X, and paste it somewhere on the right side. Okay, it could be the second column, it could be the third column, but it has to be on the right side of the common column. Okay, so that's it then. We performed the two basic tests. The first is the existence of a common column, and we also ensured that the desired item, in this case airport code, is on the right side of the city column. So we've performed the two tests, and now we are good to go for VLOOKUP. Okay, so far are we all okay, friends? Just a quick check. Are we all able to hear me? Okay, Pradeep, I will answer your question. I'm just waiting for others to respond. Yes, okay, respond. Thank you, Pallavi, Umul, Dilip. I'm just, okay, great, Ashish. Thank you, Neeraja. All right, let me just, okay. All right, thank you so much, friends. All right, great. Okay, okay. There was a question which was asked, which I just lost. Okay, can any other column be before city column than the airport code? Yes, absolutely, Pradeep. Like it is given in my data right now, you see that there is a state column also which is existing now. That column may or may not be required for me. As an example, I may have another column between the airport code and, so let's just take an example here. Let me just add a column here. So I say add, okay. Maybe I can have another column here which is population of that particular city. Okay, maybe I may have another column here which talks about number of universities or schools or whatever, and that's it. So I may have some extra number of columns, but my whole focus would be the airport code column. So yes, Pradeep, there can be n number of columns between the desired value and the common column. Okay, all you need to make sure is your desired item should not be on the left hand side of the common column. Okay, let me just, okay, great. I don't have any other questions. Okay, great. Of course, like Pradeep has done, you guys can also feel free to ask questions. Okay. Okay, Pradeep has another question here. He says, common column should be always on the left side. Well, as far as possible, yes. As far as possible, yes. However, if somebody gives you a data where you have another column here, okay, let's take an example, the STD code of that particular city. Okay, in this case, because this STD code is not a relevant column, I mean, our relevant column here is just the only the airport code. Every other column is not really relevant for us. So in this case, the STD code is on the left-hand side of the city column. In this case, it's perfectly all right, because we don't really want to bother about whatever is there on the left-hand side of the common column. Okay, Pranay has a question here. He asks, okay, Pradeep, thank you for the acknowledgement. Pranay has a question here. He asks, okay, Amrish, can we have a column after the airport code? Yes, absolutely, Pranay. You might have multiple number of columns in your data, but your focus is on the airport code column. So maybe let's take an example here in the I column. I am adding number of number of theaters in that particular city. That's not relevant for me. Okay, so now friends, okay, let me quickly check the question bank again. Let me see if I have missed anything. Okay, all right, I have an acknowledgement from Pradeep and Pranay. Great. Okay, now friends, now let me just reiterate here that, okay, let me just recap. We've performed two tests. One was the existence of a common column, and remember that is very important. You cannot perform VLOOKUP if there is no common column. Okay. Of course, there are other ways of doing it, which can be discussed in other sessions. But for VLOOKUP, you have to have a common column that we've taken care of. We've also seen that the airport code column, which in this case is the desired column, is on the right hand, is somewhere on the right hand side of the city column. Okay. Now, another thing that I will perform here, another small test number 3 that I will perform here is, I will quickly just count the column index number of the airport code column. Now you might take a look at the Excel sheet here and you might say that, okay, Amrish, it's the H column in your case, that is your column index number. Absolutely right. H column is where the airport code has been given to me, but that is not what I'm looking for. If you remember, parameter number 3 of VLOOKUP is column index number. It is not asking us for a column name or a column reference name. It was asking us for a column index number. So what I will do is, I will start from the common column, in this case, city column, and I will start navigating towards my right side. So I press the shift key and the arrow right. I keep pressing the shift key and the arrow right. Remember, I'm saying arrow right, I'm not saying page down or something, I'm saying arrow right, cursor arrow right. I press the shift key, I keep pressing the arrow right from the city code till I reach the airport code. Like you can see on my screen right now, I am just highlighting that with a green color. Okay, you can see city, state, number of universities, population, airport code. All these columns are now highlighted. Okay, so can you see that from city, if I count towards airport code becomes column number 5. Yeah, if you want, just to make it a bit easy for you, I will just put 1 here just above the city. Then I will just simply drag it towards my right hand side, and I will just say fill series here. And do you see airport code has a column number 5 here? Yeah, I'm sure everybody can see that airport code has column number 5. Okay, so I will not simply look at the Excel sheet and say, okay, H is the column number. No, I will start from, it is important for me to start from the common column and count up to the desired column. So that's why in this case my column index number is 5. Okay, just an example. If I was looking for not the airport code, but I was looking for example, if I was looking for population, okay, in that case my column index number would have been 4. Okay, all right, friends. Okay, I think it's up to here. We are all set. Now we are all good to go for VLOOKUP, the actual VLOOKUP. Okay, so the green box, which is my cell A8. Okay, I'm not sure if you guys can see my circles blinking there on that green cell. That's where I'm going to perform the VLOOKUP. Okay, I think you guys can see that. All right, equal to, I will start off with equal to VLOOKUP. I'll just say VLO, like I said. I will not type the complete spelling. Any formula of Excel, please do not type the complete spelling. Okay. Okay, Pradeep has a question here. He says, what if we have 2 rows with same city but different airport codes? Okay, yes, this can be solved with a formula called index, and you also have to use the concept of array. Just to give you a brief, in school or in colleges or in universities, you might have seen something, you might have gone through a topic called matrices, determinants. You had those boxes though, you had those square brackets there in mathematics, right? That was the concept of array, A-R-R-A-Y. That concept of Excel needs to be used to deal with a scenario where we have duplicate values. Okay, but I think, Pradeep, right now we will not go into that depth because the agenda for this session is VLOOKUP. Okay, the lookup technique is basically the agenda for the session, not duplicate values. Okay, but still, if we have time, we might want to look into that. Okay, all right. Okay. Okay, great. Now, okay, so if you look at my screen now, the very first parameter that it's asking me is lookup value. Okay, lookup value is my yellow cell where I've already selected Kolkata. Okay, so my A5 cell, because on the basis of the yellow cell, I would like to get the answer in the green cell, right? That's why I'm selecting my lookup value as my A5 cell. So the common column becomes your lookup value. Then, if you observe the tooltip carefully, there is a comma after lookup value. So let's respect the comma. So I will put the comma. I'm sure you guys must have noticed that. Now the table array parameter has become bold. Our Excel has highlighted the next parameter for us, which is table array. Like it clearly says, we are now going to select our array, and our array, our table, our given data is from the D column. So I will select this D column. Now, friends, lot of times I have seen when people select this entire table, when people want to select this entire table, they use the mouse. I'm sure a lot of you would also must be thinking that, okay, I will take the city cell and I will use my mouse like the way I'm doing right now, and I will just scroll over my mouse throughout the table, and that is how I will select my whole table. Yes, that is absolutely correct, friends. However, in a corporate environment where you are dealing with n number of columns, huge data, this method may be very, very tedious. Okay, so the best way to select this is you keep your cursor in the very first cell. That is, in this case, it's the city cell, the D3 cell, and I will use Control Shift arrow right, Control Shift arrow down. I repeat, keep your cursor in the very first cell of your table, and you press Control Shift arrow left, Control Shift arrow down. Now, after you select your table, please do not forget to do the very important step which we just covered in the referencing sheet, F4. Please do not forget to make the entire table constant. If you do not make the table constant, what will happen is exactly what we saw in the referencing sheet, where D4 was becoming D5, D5 was becoming D6, so you are getting wrong answers, right? So it's important to make the table constant if you are doing a VLOOKUP within the same sheet or the same file. Okay, that's it. So in the formula bar, I think you can see now, or in the green cell also, you guys can see that the table has been made constant. There are 4 different dollar signs, so the entire table has been made constant. Again, if you look at the tooltip, there is, okay, Naveen Kumar has a question here. Can we select D2H? Yes, Naveen, you can do that. Oh, without dollars. Okay, Pradeep, I will come to your question in a bit, but let me just answer Naveen Kumar's question first. He says, Ambarish, can we select from D to H? So, Naveen, what you're trying to ask is you select the entire D column, and then you keep moving towards your right. You hit the Shift key and the arrow right, okay, and then you select the entire thing, D to H. Yeah, that is also absolutely perfect, Naveen. Sudhakar, yes, you have missed the initial explanation where I explained how to make a range constant. Pallavi, no, for this VLOOKUP, you cannot only select header names. No, in fact, headers are not the spelling of the headers or the headers are not really important for VLOOKUP. Even if I select from the cell, which is D4 in this case, that is Mumbai, okay, and from there if I do a Control Shift arrow right and Control Shift arrow down without the header, that's also perfectly fine, Pallavi. Headers are not important for VLOOKUP. Yes, if you are doing pivot reports or if you are doing filter, then headers are important. Okay, all right. Okay. So to make something constant, Sudhakar, to make something constant, you simply select that particular cell and you make F4. You press F4 to make it constant. Puneet, the benefit of pressing F4 is you make something constant. Okay. All right. Puneet, your question is why constant? Puneet Sharma. Okay. I guess Puneet, I think you may have missed the earlier conversation or earlier session. I mean, when I did the referencing sheet, when I was doing mobile allowance, fuel allowance, I had requested you all to press the F4 key, the function F4 key, to make it constant. If you don't make it constant, then the table will keep moving down by one row. So when you drag the formula down, in this case, we are not really dragging the formula down because we only have one cell here. If you look at the data, there's only one cell here, so you might not want to make it constant. Okay, okay. But friends, since this, the F4 thing is not really very user friendly, I have a slightly beneficial task. I have a slightly beneficial thing for you. Okay. Also, Pradeep Tarakmalla. Okay. For you also, maybe this is a new concept which I can put forth. Okay. Let me just escape from this. What I'm doing here is, okay, my table, my given data, I'll just erase all the unwanted things that I've done here. Okay, in the table, if you look at the screen, okay, right from my city cell, okay, I will select the whole thing right from my city cell to the airport code, the header, and then till the end of the. So the entire table I'm selecting, and on the extreme top left of your Excel sheet, do you see a name box here? Look at the place where my circles are blinking right now. Just on the top, on the left-hand side of your formula bar, there is a name box. The place where my circle is blinking right now. Can you guys see my circle? I'm just trying to blink those circles to highlight something. Pradeep, can you see? Oh, super, fantastic, great. So there, okay, thank you Ashish, thank you Rajit. So I will select my entire table which is in question, okay, the entire data source, okay, and I will go to the name box. I'm just trying to. Okay, Naveen. All right, Naveen, that's a super question. That's the best. How to blink circles is the question that Naveen is asking. Okay. Well, Naveen, as a trainer, I have to use some techniques, some tips to attract the audience, to attract the attention of the audience. So I think it is not going to be safe for me to share that secret with you. Yes, that's a good question. Yeah, but I think if I share the secret of doing the blinking of circles, then I think you all will become trainers, and then I will not have any business. All right. Yeah. So friends, it's not a feature of Excel. Okay. It's just a feature of Windows. Okay. Okay. I think we will get done with VLOOKUP first, and then towards the end, somebody please remind me. Okay. Pallavi or Naveen. I think Naveen was the person who asked this question first. So I think Naveen, maybe you can remind me towards the end of the session about the blinking of the circles. Okay. All right. So yeah, so the blinking of circles is something which we'll do at the extreme end. Okay. But you all have to promise me that you are not going to share this with any other trainer. Okay. Okay. Great. Okay, friends. Okay, now I will go to this name box. Okay, after selecting the entire table, I will go to the name box, and here I will give it a name as, for example, I will give it a name as Naveen. Okay, any name which I can remember later. So Naveen is what I will type right now. Okay, and I will not forget to press enter. Okay, so what I've done is I have given a name. I have assigned a name, Naveen, to the entire table, which is from D3 to H13. That is from the entire state, and the entire table. Okay. Now see how my life becomes easy. Okay. I will start off with an equal to symbol. I will start off with the VL, like we discussed already. Lookup value will be the yellow cell. In this case, we just have one yellow cell, but in some cases you might have a big column. So once you get the answer of VLOOKUP, you might want to drag it down to get the answers of the remaining cities, okay? And that's when the concept of F4 is useful. But anyway, now we do not need to worry about that F4 because we have looked at a very nice concept of naming, okay? So after lookup value, I will put a comma. It says table array. In place of table array, where 90% of the people select the entire data from D to H or whatever, what I will do now is I will simply type Naveen. Can you see on my screen? I'm just typing Naveen, the name Naveen. Okay. So rather than selecting the entire table, I will type the name Naveen. Okay. And then comma. All right. Next, it is asking me for my column index number. Like we just. Okay. Thank you, Ashish. Okay. Now I see that it is asking me for my column index number. Like we discussed already, in this example, my column index number is not H. Its column number is 5. Yeah. We have done the. Yes, Sridhar, thank you so much. Yes, the column number is 5. Superb. All right. And now, friends, we have come to the last parameter or the last argument where 90% of the people will select false, which means exact match. Yeah. So I will select false. False means exact match and true means approximate match. Yeah. So we can. Yeah, Shrikant, you are right. I can either select false on the drop down or I can manually type 0 on the keyboard. That's perfectly all right. They both mean the same thing. They both mean exact match. Okay. In some other scenarios, okay, Sridhar. Just let us just park this question for the next 2 minutes. I will come to that question again. Right now, we are just talking about false, but just please remind me if I forget. Okay. Right now, I will just select false, or I can just select 0. That's it. I will close the bracket now, which is not a mandatory step. It's not compulsory to close the bracket, but I can still do it. And finally, I will press enter, and right there you can see I got the answer as CCU for Calcutta. Now, if I go to the yellow drop down there, and if I select the let's go with Jammu. Okay, I go with Jammu. All right. And automatically it gives the, oh, thank you Pallavi for that for that acknowledgement. Okay, great. Okay, so I can see when I select Jammu, it quickly changes to IXJ, which is the airport code of Jammu. Yeah, I can go back to my own city, Mumbai, and it comes to BOM. Quickly changes. Okay. All right. Now Mitesh has a question here. He says how to make that sub menu with arrow. Ah, okay. All right. Okay. This is a concept called validation. If you go into your Excel ribbon, okay, Mitesh, if you go into your Excel, I'll just show it to you here. So let's just take an example. I will just mark this red. Okay. This B10 cell I'm marking it as red. I will go to data, this tab on the top of my Excel sheet, the Excel ribbon. Okay, data. I go to validation and I will select data validation. In the data validation window, from the allow field, I will select list, okay, and then it asks me for my source. Now, what is my source? My source is this entire city column. So I come to Mumbai and I select up to Cochin, the entire column. I select the entire column as my source and I say okay, and that's it. Now, when you look at that red area, that red cell, you see that there is a drop-down list applied. Okay, Mitesh, thank you for the acknowledgement. Yes, I see that you got it. Okay. Thank you, Sridhar. Super. So that drop-down can be applied in Excel. Okay, thank you, Neeraja. Okay. Okay. Now, some people are asking me about how to auto-complete the formula name. The answer for that, Rajat, the answer for that is you use the tab key on the keyboard. Look at the screen, please. I will start off with an equal to symbol. And for example, I want to just type a formula called count. I will just type, I'm just typing equal to COU and then tab. Quickly, it shows the formula in that cell. Okay, Zia Ashraf is asking the question. Zia is not sure why I have chosen Naveen. Well, Zia, what I've done is I have selected this. Okay, Zia, what I've done is I have selected the entire table, the given table, and I have given it a name as Naveen. You can give any name of your choice. Please make sure that the name is without any spaces. Okay, you can give any name of your choice which you can remember later. Okay, Karthik, I'm sorry. Okay, Zia, did you get the point? Yeah. So just for me to be able to avoid the hassle of selecting the entire table manually and then pressing the F4 key to make it constant, what I'm doing, Zia, is I'm just giving it a name, and the name can be used in any formula. Okay, please make sure that the name is always without spaces. Okay. Okay, Sri Chaitanya, your question is how to track back the value of a name. Very good question. Sometimes, as a human being, we might forget the name, right? We have a lot of other things in life to remember, so we might forget the name. No problem. Press the Control and the F3 key on your keyboard, and you will see a wonderful thing that comes up called Name Manager. Control F3. Okay. Okay. Also, this Control F3, the name manager is you can go to the Formulas tab in your Excel ribbon. Yeah, in your Excel ribbon, go to the Formulas tab, Formulas, which is between, which is just next to Data, and then you have Name Manager, which is right here. Yeah, Control F3 or Name Manager. Okay. Yes, Naveen, you are right. Okay. Now, friends, let me just talk to you about. Okay, I think all questions are answered, but just one question is remaining. I think two questions are remaining now. One is when to use the true in VLOOKUP. Yeah, like we have used false right now. When would somebody want to use true? Okay, that's one of the questions. Okay, and the other question is the blinking circles, which is not really Excel. Okay, so let's look at the true VLOOKUP. Okay, so let's just take an example here. I'm just opening up another. Just give me a minute, please. I was not prepared for this question of true, so that's why I'm not. But no problem. I will just give me a minute, please. Okay, I have taken another Excel file here. Friends, I think now you are not, just a minute. Okay, are you able to see my screen now, friends? Okay. Okay. Sridhar T is saying that he's able to see an old Excel. Yes, Sridhar, I have opened up another file right now. Yes, I have moved away from the file which I was working on right now, and I think you made it because there is a compatibility mode which is mentioned there. Okay, Amul, thank you so much. You can see the new file now. For some of you, you will be able to see it a bit later because of the internet speed at your place, maybe. Yeah. Okay. Now, friends, if you look at this sheet here, I have data which talks about first name, last name, and all that. Okay. And here I have. Okay. I think some people are not able to see this new file. I might as well close that file. Okay. Okay. No problem. I have closed that. The new file which I had opened up, I have just closed that. Okay. So I'm coming back to the existing file. Okay, Sridhar, the old Excel which I had opened up right now. Yes, I think now we are all fine. Okay. Okay. Pallavi, I think you have tried to use the true VLOOKUP already. Okay. And there it is showing you an error. The first thing to understand for the true VLOOKUP is you will not use the true VLOOKUP when you do not have your common column as a numeric data. Example, in this case, our common column is the city column, correct? So it is not containing numbers, it's containing text, correct? That's why the true VLOOKUP cannot be used here. I will just quickly give you an example here. Let's take an example that I've got these values, okay? I've got these values, okay? I'm just typing the values here, okay? Can all of you see I'm typing some values, okay? Now these are the values which are given to me, okay? I just type values here, and here I will type category, okay? Now, let's assume that these are the sales figures, okay? Salesperson 1, salesperson 2, okay? So in my organization, there are these sales people, and they have given me the business of these many rupees or these many dollars for this month, okay? I want to know which category do they belong to, okay? Now, somewhere here I will also write down that if I'll just make it a little simple, I'll just make it 23, 45, 56, just to make it easy for all to understand, okay? What I'm doing now is, anybody who has given me a business of anywhere between 0 to 49, okay, is a low performer for me, okay? Then from 50 to 75 is an average performer for me, and anybody above 75 is a good performer for me. These are the, so whatever I am highlighting for you guys right now, whatever table I am selecting for you right now is my requirement, is my, that's my way of working, okay? So anybody who has, I'm just making it blue so that everybody can see properly, okay? Now so depending on the blue table, depending on the data which I've prepared in the blue table, I would like my Excel sheet, or I would like my VLOOKUP to display the category of the salesperson, whether he's low or average or good. Okay, so the first salesperson has given me a value of 23. Okay, so because he comes under 0 to 49, I would like Excel to display as low in front of that sales one. Okay, similarly 45 is again, it's in the range of 0 to 49. That's why again there also I would like my Excel to show up as low. Got the point? Okay, similarly for the remaining people also. So let's do a VLOOKUP again. All right, remember here we have a common column, then the common column is values. Between the two given datas, we have values here also, and we have values here also. And like I was explaining to Pallavi a little while ago, the headers are not important. So even if I do not have headers in the blue table, it's perfectly all right. Okay, but the content is, this column is my common column. Okay, all right. So the first test is done. Also, the categories in the blue table. Gagan is asking a question whether the session is getting recorded. Well, yes. Yes, it is. All these sessions are recorded. Okay. Okay, great. All right. So friends, okay. Just a minute, please. I seem to have lost my control panel. Okay, great. Now, friends, I'll just minimize this questions window. Okay, great. All right. Now, let's begin with the VLOOKUP here. Equal to VLO tab Devika, I think it's in your OneDrive, but maybe you can drop an email to the support team of Edureka, and they would be able to tell you where the recording is available. Yeah. Okay. So I will take my lookup value as cell B15, which is my 23, comma table array. Now last time I had given a name. If you guys remember, I had given a name Naveen to that entire table. This time, since I have not given a name, it is imperative for me, it is compulsory for me now to select it manually and make it constant by pressing F4. Again, let me reiterate, friends, if you press function 4, if you press F4, then your range becomes constant. Okay, pressing F4, which is what we discussed in the referencing sheet also. All right, so comma, next it says column index number. In this case, our categories, low, average, good, all these categories are given to us in the second column. So perfect, Sridhar, superb. Yes, my column number will be 2. And now, friends, we come to the all-important parameter where, like some of you were asking, we are going to select true. Okay, because it's a case. No, Sridhar, it's not 1. Oh yeah, perfect. I mean, yeah, the column number is not 1. Column number is 2. Okay, thank you, Pallavi, for the acknowledgement. Right now, I will simply just select either true, or I can simply type 1 like Sridhar has mentioned in the comment box. Okay, great. I can either select true or I can type 1 manually. That's it. I can just press enter now. Okay, do not need to close the bracket. All right, and enter. That's it. I get the answer as low for the first salesperson. All I need to do now is sit back, relax, take a glass of coffee or a beer maybe, and I can just double click. And I get the answers for everybody. Low, low, average, good, good. So depending on the values column, I am getting categories because of this. Because of this VLOOKUP where I've used 1. And yes, Naveen, what we have done is approximate match. Yes, we have done approximate match. Sridhar, this example cannot be done with false. I mean, yes, we can do false, but it only takes care of the exact matches. So just to show you what I will do here is I will purposely make it 0. Okay, Sridhar, I will purposely make it 0, press enter, and do you notice, because 23 is not given to me in that table, it's giving me NA, 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 NA. So this example cannot be solved with exact match, because we are looking into a range. Like Naveen has said, we are looking into an approximate match here. Rakhi Jain wants to know why we have done column 2. Okay, Rakhi, if you look at my blue table right now, you will see that just look at my blue table. Okay, do not look at the entire Excel sheet right now. Simply focus on that blue area. You will notice that my first column is 0, 50, 75. So that column is for my values, for the business given, okay, for the sales figures, for the revenue, whatever you want to call it as. Okay, that's my first column. Second column, where I have low, average, and good, is where I have all the categories. That's why I have taken column index number as 2. Okay. So friends, are we thorough with this concept of VLOOKUP? I can see responses like yes. I can see responses like thanks, Ambarish. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Amul. All right, thank you, Devika. Yeah, so my whole, just a quick recap, you will ensure that there is a common column. You will also, okay, Paramjeet Singh says great explanation. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, you have a common column that has to be there in VLOOKUP. You also have a table. You can always name that table by going into that name box. Okay, name box is on the top left. All right, and now you can just select your column index number next. Column index number will depend on your data, as in the item that you're looking for. Okay, and then you will either select 0 if it's a case of exact match, or you will select 1 if it's a case of approximate match. Okay, and Naveen, it is not always a case of lower approximate match. Okay, like for example, if you have a salesperson in this example who has a value of 44. Okay, now 44 is near 50, but still the answer will be low because it's in the range of 0 to 49. So I hope you understand that. Yeah, I mean what you're trying to say is correct. It is lower approximate match, but it's not near the figure. Okay, it's always going to be within the range. Okay, for downloading the recording or for the recording of this session, the URL or whatever, that I think you guys will have to send an email to the Edureka. Sorry, not Edureka, Edureka helpline. Sorry, not Edureka. Okay, now I think we will come to that last point where people were asking me about the control thing. I'm sorry, the highlighting thing. Okay, the blinking thing. Okay, Pallavi, HLOOKUP is exactly like VLOOKUP. Okay, in VLOOKUP, what we are doing is we are talking in terms of columns. Like the airport code example which I gave you, what we did there was we counted in which column is the airport code given to us, correct? Or in the second example, the blue table, we counted that column number 2 contains our categories. So in both the examples, since we were doing VLOOKUP, we counted the column numbers. In HLOOKUP, exactly everything remains the same. The only difference is columns will now become rows. So rather than counting column numbers, you will start counting row numbers. That's it. So V stands for vertical lookup, H stands for horizontal lookup. Yes, Ashish, you are right. In VLOOKUP, we respect the columns, and in HLOOKUP, we respect the rows. Gia Radha is asking, okay guys, I'm sorry if I'm not able to pronounce your names correctly. Will VLOOKUP work across sheets in an Excel workbook? Absolutely yes. Absolutely yes. In fact, Gia Radha, I would like to tell you that you can give the concept of name, like I had given the name as Naveen right now. Okay, you can give the name as Naveen, and even if your data source is existing in a different sheet, you can still use that name. Like in this case, fortunately, I had the data and the source data, both were there in the same sheet. But even if you have the source data in another sheet in the same file, you can still use the concept of name. Okay, Devika has a question. We are matching with a single Excel. How do you do for a different Excel? Okay, Devika, if you have the source data given to you in another Excel file, a completely different Excel workbook, then your life becomes all the more easy. All you need to do is simply press Alt-Tab Okay, so you navigate to that other open workbook, and you select that entire table given to you. The F4 thing is not required in that case. If the data table, if the source data is given to you in another Excel file, okay, another Excel file, okay, then you just need to go to that another Excel file, select the entire table, and you don't even have to perform F4. It becomes all the, so VLOOKUP can be done within two different sheets of the same file, also in two different files. Sri Chaitanya wants to know, is it possible to have a quick example with data across two sheets? Yes, sure, no problem, we can do that. So what I'm doing right now is I am just copying this table, the table which I had named as Naveen. Okay, that table I'm selecting. Okay, Control C. I will just go in the last of this Excel file and I will paste it here. Okay. Okay. Now I come here. Okay, Pallavi Jadhav says fantastic teachings. Okay, thank you, thank you. All right. Now I will come to that. Okay, I will come to that question which was asked by somebody where I am just now putting the data in another Excel sheet. Okay. Now here also I will come here. I will select the entire table and I will give it a name. This time let me give my name, Ambarish, A-M-B-A-R-I-S-H. Enter. Okay. Now so this. Okay. So I've prepared a just name it as new sheet. Okay. Now I go back to my VLOOKUP one sheet. Okay. I will start doing the VLOOKUP again. So in that green box, I will say equal to VLOOKUP. Lookup value will be Mumbai, that A5 cell, comma. Name given was Ambarish. So I just start typing AM tab, comma. Airport code is given to us in column number 5, comma 0 or false. That's it, and I still get the answer as bomb for Mumbai. So the person who was asking about the two different sheets, I hope it is clear now. Okay, well, okay, now, okay, interesting questions coming now. Amul is asking me a question wherein he wants to know that in my Excel sheet, okay, Amul, I'm not sure why you are looking at that ribbon of Excel. We were concentrating on VLOOKUP, so the Excel spreadsheet is what we were looking at. So I'm not sure why you are looking at the ribbon. Okay, no problem. Amul's question is in the Excel ribbon, okay, where I have the home tab, page layout, formulas, data, review, view, okay. In all these tabs, I have one tab here that goes by the name Ambarish. Can you all see that, friends? Very good observation, Amul. In my Excel, I have a new tab that goes by the name Ambarish. Generally, we all have home tab, review tab, data, formulas, blah, 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 blah. But I have a new tab here called Ambarish. So I go to the file icon here. Some of you may be using Excel 2007. So for you, it is not possible. Okay. But if you are using Excel 2010 or Excel 13, okay, MS Office 2010 or MS Office 2013, okay, or Office 365, okay, you can come to this file icon, okay, and you can go to options, file, options, okay, and then you have a thing here that says customize ribbon. File, options, and you have an icon, you have a tab here that says customize ribbon. There at the bottom, I have a thing that says new tab. So I just clicked on new tab and I added one tab there. What I've done here is the items which are very frequently required for me in my personal Excel life, okay, like conditional formatting, format painter, name manager, save, all these items which are, all these commands which I require frequently, I have grouped them into one single tab called as Ambarish. Okay, Amul? Okay, I think now we can come to that last and very interesting question about the blinking of the circles. Okay, so first of all, please do not do that when you are sitting at your office, in your office chair. Okay, Gagan is saying very good info. Thank you. Srikanth is acknowledging as well. Thank you, Srikanth. Of course, if you have questions, please feel free to ask. All right, coming back to that blinking circles, okay. Once I was in, I'm not sure, I think it was Chennai. I was traveling and my flight was delayed. So I decided to open up my laptop, and rather than watching a movie or rather than playing some games, I decided to do some research and development in the control panel. So I went into the control panel of my laptop and I went into the mouse, okay. So if you open your control panel in your laptop, if it's Windows 7 or XP, whatever, Windows Vista, Windows XP, Windows 7, Windows 8, if you go to control panel and if you go to the mouse option in that control panel, okay, when you open that mouse window, you have multiple tabs. There you can go to pointer options, and within pointer options, there is a last option that says, I just forgot the option there. My problem is I cannot navigate away from this Excel spreadsheet right now, because if I do so, then you guys will not be able to see properly. But I will still go to my control panel and I will just go to large icons. In the mouse category in my control panel, there is a tab that says pointer options. Okay, in the pointer options, in the extreme last, you will see show location of pointer when I press the control key. I repeat, under pointer options, I will see show location of the pointer when I press the control key. That option has to be tick marked. You have to apply a tick mark there. That's it. You press apply and then you press OK and it's done. I think Naveen has got it. Naveen Kumar has got it. Sridhar has got it. Neeraja wants to say, you have striven so hard for us to make us bright. I would like to say you thanks a lot for, thank you so much. Neeraja, I think I have already opened up my control panel, but I think you are not able to see that. So I think there is something to do with the webinar thing where I cannot navigate away from my Excel. But you can just go to control panel, go to pointer options, and under pointer options, you have the option that says show location of pointer when I press the control key. That needs to be tick marked and then apply and then OK. That's how, and then after that, you just keep pressing control key whenever you want to highlight something, not just for Excel, also for PowerPoint, also for your desktop, anywhere in your Windows, even on Facebook, if you want to highlight something, you can just press the control key on your keyboard. Just keep pressing the control key and the circles will come. All right. Okay. So I think we will wind up the session now. In India, it is 10:05. If you have any questions, you can email to the Edureka support team and they will forward them to me if I've missed out. Okay. Okay, friends. So it was nice doing this online training with you. The VLOOKUP. Please practice. Please do not forget to practice. This is like mathematics. The more you practice, the better it is, so that you don't forget. And so thank you so much for being a good audience. Thank you for the questions asked. Thank you for the acknowledgements. And good night.